News that's just coming in. Maharashtra government has issued a show-cause notice to 4 private hospitals in Mumbai who were allegedly flouting the 80-20 formula related to COVID beds. The State Health Minister Rajesh Tope visited private hospitals in Mumbai to review the situation himself and said that the state government will take strict action against those private hospitals which are not following this norm, where they're supposed to allot 80% beds to the government for COVID patients.
मुझे लगता है कि 80-20 का फॉर्मूला है और कई बड़े बड़े ग्राउंड्स में हमने अभी नए तरीके से बेड्स लगाने का काम जो ऑक्सीजनेटेड बेड्स रहेंगे वहाँ पर भी हमने व्यवस्था की है। लेकिन अगर जो प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स है, जो ट्रस्ट के हॉस्पिटल्स है, वे हॉस्पिटल्स अगर कायदे से जो बेड्स हमारे को मिलना ही ज़रूरी है वो अगर नहीं मिल रहे हैं तो कल हमारी जो पर्सनल मेरी विज़िट रही, मेरे साथ सुधाकर शिंदे जो सक्षम अधिकारी है, कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी है, वे मेरे साथ थे। हमने देखे कि कई उसमें कमियां हैं इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में, जैसा कि वहाँ पर बोर्ड लगाया गया नहीं है, चार्जेस का बोर्ड लगाया गया नहीं है और कुछ पेशेंट्स को वहाँ पर बेड्स उपलब्ध नहीं किया जा रहा था। हमने वहाँ पर बेड्स तो उपलब्ध किए लेकिन उनको हमने नोटिस भी जारी किया है कि एक शो कॉज नोटिस है कि ये हम बिल्कुल सहन नहीं करेंगे। अगर आपने ये बेड्स जो कायदे से हक बनता है गवर्नमेंट का 80% बेड्स विद कैप्ड चार्जेस वो देना ज़रूरी है, वो देना चाहिए आपने। अगर नहीं करेंगे आप तो कायदे से कार्रवाई हम ज़रूर करेंगे।
Mayuresh joining us for more details. Mayuresh, obviously the state government taking a very stern stand as far as this particular rule is concerned. If you can take us through what we know at this point.
Certainly, only the rule is 80-20. It means that the state government will acquire the 80% of bed, and on those 80% of bed, people will have to pay the charges as per or the whatever the government has prescribed. So the capped government has put those charges they have to give. But what health minister told us that when he visited yesterday, it was a kind of a surprise visit, that he said major hospitals which we visited, the 4 major private hospitals, that they were not following those norms. Many people were turned away by the hospital, whether they were COVID or the non-COVID, and they were clearly told that no bed is available. So certainly that's why Maharashtra government has given a show cause notice to 4 major hospitals within the city, and they have told them that if you fail to comply with the government rules of 80-20, then there will be a strict action against them. Also, they cannot charge on those 80% beds, they cannot charge more than the prescribed amount which the government has decided. Back to you.
All right, Mayuresh, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. And on to the latest developments of cyclone Nisarg, for the impact of which Maharashtra and Gujarat are bracing for at the moment. Now, the deep depression over the Arabian Sea has now intensified into a cyclone. It is likely to turn into a severe cyclonic storm over the next 12 hours. So we're talking around tomorrow afternoon. The severe cyclonic storm will then cross the coast of North Maharashtra as well as South Gujarat in the afternoon of tomorrow. In fact, we have reporters on ground to get us the situation at this point in time, the preparedness that both the states are undertaking right now. And we'll just go across to Disha in just a minute. But those are the visuals on your screens at this point in time. But Disha for now is joining us from Mumbai at this point. There's been an issue as far as evacuation is concerned because people have not yet been evacuated from the low-lying areas and the vulnerable areas in the city. But Disha, what can you tell us at this point in time in terms of preparedness, in terms of, because now we are talking about less than 12 hours before the cyclone hits?
Well, Certainly, Avni. First and foremost, here, as far as the preparedness is concerned, we are at Juhu Beach, and I just want to show you the preparations by, the authorities here in concern. There are lifeguards present at this point in time. As you can see, these are the lifeguards. If I can ask my video journalist Vijay Mistry to show you, they have been deployed here since morning, and they will be deployed tomorrow as well. At least 6 lifeguards is what we are understanding that they will be deployed here at the Juhu Beach. As far as there's a special, police security also here, that additional police security that have been added up. These are the hunters, is what we understand, commandos. There are 4 commandos at present to monitor the entire situation on the ground level if there is any untoward situation. And we are also looking at a completely restricted movement of the people at this point in time. And as you can see, it has started raining also a bit here in the city of Mumbai, Avni. And more, as far as the beaches are concerned, there are approximately 93 lifeguards that will be deployed across the 6 beaches here in the city of Mumbai. So this is the big number here that we are talking about. Lifeguards will be present 24/7 is what we understand. And why we are particularly showing you this, what is the significance? Because Mumbai is on red alert tomorrow is what we understand. Cyclonic storm with extremely heavy rainfall. So this, of course, will have a huge impact with heavy wind. So that is why a lot of preparations are being undertaken on the ground level. Again, I would want to show you the special police security here present monitoring the situation. Apart from this, there is the local police station officials as well right now, because beaches attract a lot of people, be it in the evening, be it in the morning. And tomorrow, considering the BMC had actually stated that people can go for their morning walks, but now considering this cyclone, alert has come into picture. A lot of them might really end up landing here, but the police is here to tell them to go home. So all of this is the situation on the ground level. We are expecting soon the beach rescue team also to come here, and they will also take their positions, is what we understand. Till at least tomorrow night in shifts, these teams will work.
All right, Disha, well, that's the situation, at least at Juhu Beach. Preparations are on to face or to brace for the impact of the cyclone. Let's also, in fact, take a look now at Palghar, because remember, Palghar in Maharashtra is one of the districts which is likely to be the most impacted. In fact, 2 NDRF teams have been deployed to evacuate about 45,000 people. 86 shelter homes have been identified where people will be moved. In fact, people living in 62 villages are set to shift to shelter homes as well. All shops and companies will be closed tomorrow. Power supply, in fact, could also be disrupted.
साइक्लोन निसर्ग का जो इम्पैक्ट है, जैसे आपने लास्ट अम्फान के साथ अगर कंपेयर करें तो अम्फान से 1 या 2 स्टेप डाउन है, क्योंकि अम्फान का जो चक्रवात है वो सुपर साइक्लोन से फिर डाउन होके एक्सट्रीम सुपर साइक्लोन में आ गया था, सीवियर साइक्लोन में आ गया था। और यहाँ पर भी सीवियर साइक्लोन का है, जिसका विंड स्पीड एटलीस्ट जब लैंडफॉल करेगा 100 to 120 तक रहेगा। 100 to 120 तक अगर वाइंड का स्पीड रहता है तो उसमें कच्चा मकान, पेड़ और आपकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटीज या टावर्स, ये सब गिरने का चांसेस रहता है। जो इम्पैक्ट हुआ है, देखा होगा आपने इम्फान के दौरान, तो वो इम्पैक्ट यहाँ पर हो भी सकता है।
In fact, Sandhya is joining me from Palghar. She's on ground there taking a look at the preparations that are going on to sort of tackle the cyclone at this point in time. Sandhya, what can you tell us right now in terms of evacuation? Because earlier on in the day when you spoke to us, the evacuation hadn't yet started. Has the process now begun?
See, Avni, right now we are in Murbe village of Palghar, and meanwhile we talk about the evacuation process. Let me show you around what's happening. So the fishermen community of this village, they are first, of course, NDRF teams are briefing them, and the reason they are here on their boats is because they are packing up, they are covering their boats, and apart from that, they have been advised to strengthen the anchoring. That's exactly what is being done here. So now, if we talk about the evacuation process at the village level, from today afternoon, some villages have started the evacuation process, and villages like Satpati, villages like Edwan, these villages have started their evacuation. There are shelter houses which are identified in the village areas, strong buildings, government buildings, and people, those who are living in Kacha Makans will be and are being taken to those shelter houses in many villages. Now in Palghar area, 86 shelter houses are identified by the government, and around 42 to 45,000 people will be moved to these shelter houses, and the capacity of these 86 shelter houses as of now is said to be 60,000 people. That's the capacity of these shelter houses. And right now in Murbe village, you can see that, okay, so these are the visuals. These, you can see that how the villages, the fishermen people are taking, they are first emptying their boats, and in the process of covering their boats, they are taking the required stuff back to their houses. In fact, on the other hand as well, you can see there are some people on the terrace as well. They are also trying to cover the terraces. So villagers at their own level are also preparing for the cyclone. Avni, in fact, on the other side of the camera, there are again, you can see two fishermen. They are carrying stuff from their boats towards their houses. Again, Murbe is going to be a vulnerable spot because it's quite close to the sea. This is the sea you can see, and these are the houses right next to the sea. So there are around 62 villages on the coastal line of Palghar, and these 62 villages are the ones in the vulnerable spot, and that's why NDRF teams are moving from one village to another in these parts to first spread the awareness, second to conduct a survey that what kind of evacuation will be required, and a timely response is given to district administration. On the basis of that, from today afternoon, evacuation process has started. Now the people are being taken to the shelter houses which are identified by district administration. Avni.
All right, Sandhya, thanks for getting us all those details. That's the preparations as far as Palghar is concerned. But let's now, head back to Mumbai. My colleague Neha is joining me at this point in time, and she's got the Chief Fire Officer with her to get a sense of the preparedness of the city of Mumbai. Neha, over to you.
Absolutely, and if we can show you around, we are reporting from Girgaon Chowpatty in Mumbai, one of the beaches at the coastline of the city, and the Chief Fire Officer along with the team is showing us the preparations that are being taken in the wake of cyclone that is expected to hit the city tomorrow. This is the team of the fire rescue along with the beach team lifeguards, and they will be posted here tomorrow to ensure that people who are hitting the beach are protected and saved in the right time. To know more about this, let's speak to Mr. Rangdale himself. Please explain to us, sir, what was the mock drill that was planned here? What was being done?
It's not a mock drill. And first of all, I just want to correct it. This lifeguards are always 24/7, not 24/7, but throughout the year till the sunset are posted over here. Tomorrow being cyclonic moment, and as well as per our SOP, the flood and rescue team. We do have another flood and rescue team with the Mumbai Fire Brigade. The lifeguards are on the Drishtis. They are also working under us, under contract, okay? So our plan is tomorrow we are not expecting anything on a beaches in a sense, live danger. The reason is because of lockdown, you can see there's actually the beaches are desert. The only concern is the near the beaches, the shanties, what they have, in Kulaba area in Warsaw, when this water surge into the shanties, and when you have high tide and then rain, if that coincide, and with the wind, we foresee some issues and we do have more than a 150 fire brigade team, which are specializedly their specialty is into flood response. Around 90 lifeguards stand by, stand down from 15 hours. In fact, today is not a mock drill. We already did a drill 1 week before, so our equipments and manpower are ready. And this today is only a response. The response, how the response mechanism and how the coordinations happen. That is the only thing today what we are doing for the tomorrow.
So what are the kind of arrangements we'll see then at the beaches of Mumbai tomorrow? We see some red flags also being posted here at the beaches.
This is our regular features. These red flags, whenever there is a danger, when there is a cyclone, when there is a high tide which is more than 4-5 meter, that is the restricted area. But tomorrow we don't know up to what time what level the search will come. But hope it should be a better thing. But anyhow, we have to be prepared for the worst, and that is what the preparation is for. And I said, like, we are not only working on the beaches, we are working on land side also. So if there is a flood situation happen and kind of a rescue require, immediate intervention of a rescue team, we are ready. And apart from that, my team, the collapse structure search, and we do have 6 teams. They are also mobilized. One hazmat team, if some chemical issues or biochemical issues happen, one hazmat team is also ready. Apart from that, we do have a big fleet of 360 vehicles. All are in readiness for tomorrow.
Okay, so these are the kind of preparations the Chief Fire Officer just mentioned and told us here that the teams have been ready. The hazmat team, in case if there's a chemical leak, even that has been kept on standby. And apart from that, the people here, especially which are required in such kind of situation, have been kept on alert to ensure that the preparedness is in place in the city when the cyclone hits.
All right, Neha, thank you so much for getting us those details and getting that input from the Chief Fire Officer as well. So at this point in time, preparations are underway in Mumbai as well. But let's get a sense now of what the cyclone situation is. How far away is it from the state at this point in time? Joining me is Mahesh Palawat, Vice President Meteorology and Climate Change of SkyMet Weather at this point. Thank you very much, Mr. Palawat, for joining us on Mirror Now. What can you tell us first, if you can give us the latest update as far as the trajectory of the cyclone is right now?
Yeah, it is now intensified into a cyclone, and gradually we expect that by tonight it will be intensifying further into a severe cyclone, and it is at present around 320 kilometers south-southwest of Mumbai. And after a few hours, it is expected to recover in north-northeast direction towards north of Mumbai. So expected landfall is north of Mumbai by tomorrow afternoon, and we expect now that rain activities will start increasing. Already heavy rains are going on over Goa and adjoining area and many parts of Karnataka, and Mumbai adjoining area will also witness heavy rains by tomorrow morning or late night today. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Palawat, if you can sort of explain to us, as far as the intensity of the cyclone itself is concerned, because obviously we saw Cyclone Amphan just a short while back, and this is nowhere close to that. But nonetheless, for the state of Maharashtra, for this side of the coast, there hasn't been a cyclone in more than 100 years. So from that perspective, if you can just help us understand how does this, where does the cyclone stand?
Cyclone Amphan was an extremely severe cyclone. That's why it hit the coast with the intensity of say 180 to 185 kilometer per hour. But this cyclone is at present a simple cyclone, and it will intensify into a severe cyclone. So we expect that this wind speed will be around 100 to 110, and at the most it will be 120 kilometer per hour. And usually the cyclonic storm which develops over Arabian Sea tends to travel in northwest direction away from coast, and rarely they recurve in northeast, which we have seen this time. Otherwise, the earlier depression, we have seen that it was moving towards Oman. Most of the cyclone usually move toward northwest direction away from coast towards Oman and Yemen. And this is, you are right that it is first cyclone which is heading towards Mumbai. Although we have seen some cyclones hitting Gujarat and Karachi area. And in the terms of intensity, it will not be very, very dangerous. So we can say that still we cannot lower our guards, as the wind speed will be high, torrential rains will be there, and there may be uprooting of trees, disruption to communication line, electric poles, and the kacha houses, and asbestos sheet and tin shed may blow up. So inundation of low-lying areas at the storm surge will be around, say, 5 to 6 feet above the astronomical, which are the normal level. It will be, you can say, the height of wave will be 10 to 12 feet over the coastal areas, and it will reach up to 500 to 600 meter inland. Yeah.
All right. Right. And as far as the coastal areas, of course, the low-lying areas also, the evacuation process has started in both Gujarat as well as in Maharashtra areas, the vulnerable areas. But if you can also tell us, the landfall, where exactly is that likely to happen and when is that likely to happen from what we know so far? All right, we seem to have lost the line of Mahesh Palawat there, but essentially he's saying that this is nowhere close to Cyclone Amphan, but it is definitely a severe cyclone that is it's going to intensify into a severe cyclone by tomorrow. The wind speeds are likely between 100 and 120 kilometers per hour. There could be damage to communication lines, telephone poles. All of that could see some kind of damage as far as the impact of the cyclone itself is concerned. We'll try and reconnect with him in just a bit, but this is the latest as far as cyclone Nisarg is concerned, and of course this is the first cyclone to hit this part of the coast that is close to Mumbai in more than 100 years. So that is the other aspect that one needs to take note of at this point in time, even though its intensity is not as much, but it is at this point in time close, more than 100 years when we've seen this kind of a cyclone actually hit Mumbai area or close to Mumbai at this point in time. We'll try and get you some more details, but for now multiple advisories have also been issued at this point in time from the NDRF as well. To ignore rumors, to keep cell phones charged, keep valuables in waterproof containers, and prepare emergency kit with essentials for safety. Some advisories being issued as well. Meanwhile, Mirror Now spoke to Mumbai's Guardian Minister Aslam Sheikh, who assured that the city was prepared for the approaching storm. The minister said that low-lying areas have been identified and electricity department has been put on high alert as well. Listen in.
Since morning, we had a meeting with the commissioners, with the collectors, and all the concerned top officers. All prevention has been taken. We have set up a team with the BMC disaster cell. We have set up the fire brigade. We have made a team of collector and tehsildars. If anything happens, who has to do what action has to be taken. We have identified all the low-lying areas. If water becomes more, how they can be shifted to nearby schools or nearby clubs and all big facilities which we have already been considering for the quarantine and all, which has been kept idle. So all the measures what is supposed to be taken, since the COVID cases are also high, so we have taken every step, whatever best administration can take, that has been considered in this.
In the morning session, the rain is also expected. There is a high tide somewhere around 9:30, 9:50. So considering that, what other preparations we have done? As you said, you have identified the low-lying spots. How many low-lying spots are there, and how many people we may evacuate from these low-lying spots if rain starts continuing?
See, it is a benchmark for Mumbai city because every year we have identified the low-lying area. There are some near the railway stations. There are some areas which are in saucerways. So all the time we keep our generator pump over there. So with pump we just suck out the water from there. And in these cases also, I told you that we have already identified big places, the big clubs and also where we can, if needed, we can shift over there. And simultaneously, since the electricity might also get damaged and a lot of things can happen. So we have made a provision for all the hospitals in Mumbai where COVID or non-COVID patients have been treated. We have told the concerned electricity department like Adani and BST, all these officers are going to be posted near the hospital. Simultaneously, we have put the generators over there because people are in ICU and generators. So these all measures have been taken, and we have specially hired more people from the army and other people also. So if anything is needed, like a lot of trees are going to get fallen, also it happens something. So that all precautionary measures has been taken so that nothing can happen more, like where the condition becomes and it goes out of control.
And on that note, it's time to wrap up this edition. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned tomorrow now.